Hey guys, Will and Sam back again with another review. This time we've got the Crimson Slaughter. Now this came out a few weeks ago at the same time as the Black Legion and Angels of Death, both of which we've already got reviews for. So check down there in the description for links to both of those if you want to see them. But if you want to see the Crimson Slaughter, then stick around and let's see what we've got. So yeah, the Crimson Slaughter are a Chaos faction. They're not one of the original legions. They are sort of a Khorne-dedicated renegade.
Well, what they are is they're I don't know what chapter they were, but they basically went mad with possession, and they have to keep killing things to stop the possession.
Yeah, so they were Crimson something. They were a loyalist chapter. I can't remember what they were called, but
That's just awesome.
that is pretty badass. They were the ones that you get kind of in the starter box for 40k. What's it called even these days? You know the one I mean, the starter box. And so yeah, now they had a supplement before, but this is adding more stuff, more formations, more rules. There's some reprint in here and a lot of new stuff. So first thing is very much like the Black Legion supplement. You get a big chunk of fluff at the start and then a smaller amount of rules. So again, you know, this is going to be quite a fluffy army. Got some lovely pictures in here, show you how to paint all the units, timelines, maps, big full pages of fluff. So, you know, if you like the background story for these guys, then probably well worth the read. And this is only like 20 quid RRP, which means most places you can get it for somewhere between 16 and 18, depending on what local discounts you can get. We can always get at least 10% down here. So anyway, on to the rules. So to start with, we've got the general special rules for the army that you add. So
you got the Harbingers of the Tormented. The formations have fear.
Basically, anything that you declare as being a Crimson Slaughter formation or detachment causes fear. Not a massive bonus, but if you can kind of play it with some leadership shenanigans, it can be useful. Okay.
When choosing Crimson Slaughter detachment or formations, units of possessed have troops battlefield role instead of elites. Furthermore, possessed in the Crimson Slaughter detachment or from formations do not have Vessels of Chaos special rule from the Chaos Space Marine Codex. Instead, roll a d3 on the table below at the beginning of each controlling player's turns. The mutation affects every possessed model in the unit.
Yeah.
So you roll per unit and lasts until the start of the controlling player's next turn.
So they basically have a separate table for their possessed?
Yeah, basically possessed in the Chaos book, roll each turn they're in combat to gain some combat bonus.
Yep.
This one they get a general bonus.
Okay.
So it's a d3. On a 1, units in any vehicle they are embarked upon gain shrouded.
That's really good actually. Shrouded is good. Shame it's random, but yeah.
The units become beasts instead of infantry. That's amazing.
Good. That makes them fast, which you need with possessed to get them
Again,
there.
but random. And on a 3, gain a 3-up invulnerable and rending. That's really good. So they're all good buffs.
Yeah.
It's just going to be a bit random when you get them.
Yeah, but I say with a little bit of luck, you can possibly do something really nice with possessed in this. I think they're much better than the buffs in the Chaos book.
Yeah.
And their troops as well. You know, you could actually, whether it would be competitive or not, I don't know, but run like a possessed spam list.
Yep. Obsec possessed.
Obsec possessed could be interesting. Yeah, that'd be interesting to see that done.
Renegades of the Dark Millennium. No unit from the Crimson Slaughter or formations can have the Veterans of the Long War special rule, except Core Berserkers, Plague Marines, and Noise Marines.
Okay, so that makes sense with their fluff because
why no Thousand Sons?
I don't know, to be completely honest. Can Thousand Sons even get Veterans of the Long War because they're soulless, incorporeal
I don't know.
spirits?
I don't know off the top of my head. They might have it standard.
I think Thousand Sons they either have it as standard or they don't get it because they're not truly alive. I'm not sure, but yeah, it makes sense that your basic guys, they don't have it. because they're not veterans of the Long War. They're not guys that fought in the Horus Heresy. They're guys that have turned relatively recently, but just suffer from a hell of a lot of possession.
So overall, relics from this book replace the ones in the Chaos Codex.
So you got a nice new pile of relics. But first we got Warlord traits.
Yes, Warlord traits. So number 1, your Warlord has the Hatred special role. When attacking an enemy unit with a Dark Angels faction, your Warlord and unit he's joined reroll fail to hit rolls every round of combat.
Okay, so it's hatred and slightly better hatred against Dark Angels.
Yeah, because everyone hates Dark Angels.
This is a bitter Space Wolf player speaking here.
Bitter. Superior.
Just because they bombed your home world.
Yeah, because they're twats and getting tricked by a demon.
I'm sure that's happened before. That the Chaos have tricked the Space Marine Legion into bombing another one. Wasn't it the Space Wolves who got tricked into attacking the Thousand Suns during the Heresy?
Yeah, but hardly tricked. The Thousand Suns were traitor legion.
They were not. They were loyal. The only reason that the Space Wolves were ordered to attack the Thousand Suns because Magnus used his psychic powers to try and warn the Emperor of Horus's treachery, but busted the Golden Throne in the process, and the Emperor was like, FTS, and sent the Space Wolves, the Custodes, and the Sisters of Silence to sack Prospero. But then Horus had a bit of a word with Russ and made Russ even more psychic, because he was actually originally sent to restrain Magnus, but Horus riled him up to the point where he just bombed Tisca instead.
Yeah.
And he still had to go down and finish the job.
That's Horus, not a changeling.
Yeah, but Horus was kind of acting in the stead of a demon at that point anyway. Anyway. Enough fluff, onto these rules, because we're 6 minutes in already, damn it.
Number 2, subtract 1 from leadership of enemy models with 12 of your warlords. 2 instead if those units make
when
fear
any
tests.
of those units make a fear test.
So you get -2 to fear tests and -1 to the leadership.
That's useful, but too random with these things. It's the problem with Warlord traits.
And who actually takes fear? Only like a quarter of the armies in the game.
Yeah, I'm thinking Necrons basically pass it all the time because they're leadership 10. Marines auto-pass it. Nids tend to auto-pass it. Demons auto-pass it. Eldar have some shenanigans for re-rolling it, or quite frankly shouldn't be in combat anyway. Yeah, fear is a bit meh.
Orcs and Tau.
Hey, Tau, it doesn't matter. If you got into combat with Tau, they're dead.
Yeah.
So Orcs. And Orcs will have a more ball way to get around it. So fear sucks.
Your warlord has the Rage and Furious Charge special rule. If your warlord or his unit is within 12 inches of an enemy at the beginning of the shooting phase, you cannot shoot and must attempt to charge in the shooting assault phase.
Yeah, so basically, if you're within 12, you mustn't shoot, you have to charge in the assault phase, but you do get Rage and Furious Charge.
Which are good.
Yeah, I suppose your Warlord tends to be a melee character anyway. If he's with a melee unit, it can be kind of useful, but making you do something rather than giving you the option is never a good thing.
No. Your warlord has the Crusader special rule.
Oh, that yawn is true.
Crusader's nice.
It's a bit meh. I'm not a big fan of it.
Enemy models in base contact with your warlords. Enemy models in base contact with a warlord each take D6 strength 3 AP dash hits at the initiative 10 step in each assault phase. D6 strength 3 hits, meh.
Yeah, you get shot by a few las guns.
Your warlord has shrouded.
That's good. So that last one is particularly nice.
It's okay.
And Hatred's okay. But again, like I've said with so many Warlord trait tables in the past, they're okay, but I would definitely take the tactical or strategic.
Yeah.
I mean, compare that to getting an additional card on your first turn of a Maelstrom
Or
mission. That could be game
infiltrate,
winning.
or for D3
Yeah,
units.
gain infiltrate on D or outflank on D3 units, or move through cover and stealth in ruins. You know, these are okay, but there's so much better traits out there.
Right.
Sorry,
Okay, tired.
it's getting a bit late. Oh, yeah.
Right, relics. The Blade of Relentlessness.
Yeah.
30 points, Chaos Lords only. Strength user, AP3, melee, Soul Siphon.
So Soul Fight Siphon is make a note of how many enemy models removed as a casualty.
Stop yawning!
Sorry, I barely slept last night.
So he basically, the more he kills, the better he gets.
Oh, I see, yeah. So 1 kill he gets +1 strength, 3 kills he gets AP2, 5 kills he gets another +1 strength, 10 kills he gets instant death. So that's nice. Was it 30 points? I'd say if you're going to take a power weapon, take this instead. It's worth it.
Oh, trying to get around that yawn. Right, the Crozius of the Dark Covenant. It's 30 points again.
Can only be taken by a Dark Apostle. You get, basically it's a standard Crozius with Warp Medium. You gain
All
Zealot.
units, gain Zealot within 6 inches.
So it's basically a 6-inch bubble of I'm a Chaplain on a Dark Apostle. Which is nice.
Good, yeah.
It's kind of nice to represent one of the former chaplains from when this chapter was loyal, but now they're dark, they're a Dark Apostle, they're chaos, but it's the same effect.
Right, Demon Heart, again, 30 points. All these items are 30 points so far. May not be taken by Demon Prince. Demon Heart confers 2+ armor, and it will not die special rule. That's really good. 30 points with 2 up armor and it will not die.
Yeah, that's not bad. That is not. What would be a 2-up armor normally? You pay like.
Terminator. You pay 30 points for Terminator armor.
Can you get like an Artificer equivalent?
No.
Chaos, man. Chaos. But yeah, no, that's decent. I like that.
Yeah. Right, Prophet of the Voices.
Yeah.
30 points. The bearer has Demon, Fearless, Fear, Slaves to the Voices special rule.
Which is the extra boon table for the possessed. So you've got the quite nice options there.
Means your Warlock can go unit possessed and not worry about.
But also,
he can.
And that result applies to his unit.
Yeah.
So he
can only join Crimson Slaughter possessed. Roll once for the Voice special rule applying.
Oh, I see. He can only join possessed, and the result applies for him and the unit.
But then he basically becomes possessed. He gains Demon, so 5-up Pinbon, Fearless, nice, Fleet, nice, Slaves to the Voices, nice.
Yeah, so not bad.
30 points.
And quite a fluffy way to run him, if you're running a lot of possessed anyway.
The
Ballastar of Manon.
Weird words. It's 25 points! It's not 30.
Sorcerer only.
The Ballastar of Manon can choose to generate powers from divination discipline, and can choose to reroll unsuccessful dice when taking psychic tests.
Really good reroll. However, neither he nor any units he joined can benefit from any modifiers to deny the witch. Oh well, that never really comes up much anyway.
Well, that's weird because he gets divination anyway, being a chaos sorcerer.
Yeah, but the point is, if he takes from divination, he can.
25 points to re-roll your psychic tests. You know you've got chaos familiars for 15 points, which allow you to re-roll psychic tests.
How often though?
I think once.
Oh. So this is like a more permanent. I think 25 to re-roll your psychic tests. I'd pay that.
It's 15 points for a familiar.
But that's one off. This is re-roll all of them.
Yeah, but if all your sorcerers have familiars and you cast 1 power with them each.
I suppose if you're running a lot of sorcerers.
Yeah.
But
anyway, the Slaughterer's Horns. It's 15 points.
Yeah.
Hammer of Wrath and Rage.
And Furious Charge.
Furious Charge, Hammer of Wrath and Rage.
Not bad. 15 points. So Furious Charge, you got +1 strength on the charge. Hammer of Wrath, you're doing extra damage on the charge, and Rage, you're getting extra attacks on the charge.
So that's probably the best item, yeah. 15 points for all that is really good. So yeah, those are the relics. Subpar, better than the Black Legion ones, but subpar.
There's some there I would definitely consider taking though. You know, those horns.
the Blade of Relentless and the horns. Maybe.
I still like the Ballastar of Manon. The reroll your psychic, because it's how many psychic tests do you take over the course of the game with a level 3 sorcerer?
There is that.
He is limited to divination. I don't even know if that means he is limited. No, it says he can choose to, so yeah. So you can still take that and re-roll your invisibilities or your psychic shrieks.
Right, formations. The first one is the Ravagers.
So like the Black Legion one, this doesn't have like a Decurion style detachment of formations.
Yeah.
It just has lots of individual formations. So the Ravagers. This, however, isn't a formation of Ravagers.
No. It's one unit chosen and one unit possessed.
Okay.
They must be Crimson Slaughter. If they're chosen from this formation from...
Oh, I see. I think this is meant to represent the Drasnik's Ravagers, but it's only called the Ravagers. So Drasnik's Ravagers, I think, refers to this. It's a bit of a bad wording.
If the chosen is still alive at the start of your turn, you can pick one unit from this
The
formation
chosen
to benefit.
champion's alive.
Yeah. One unit to benefit from the prescience.
From his prescience. So it's not the prescience. For the duration of that turn, that unit can re-roll failed rolls to hit. Okay, so it's really badly worded, but basically, if your chosen champion is alive, one unit can choose to re-roll to hit for that turn. So that's decent, actually. If you wanted to run these units anyway.
I guess if you dropped a load chosen out with melters or flamers or...
Yeah. If only they had access to drop pods. That would be amazing, but they don't. They're stuck in rhinos.
Don't even have razorbacks. I really like this one.
The Disciples of Manon. Oh yeah, this is the one with a really funny rule. So you get a sorcerer and a unit of possessed. So I guess this Manon, this guy's come up before. This must be like a character sorcerer because he's got an item and now he's got some disciples.
Yeah. So at the start of the battle phase, roll 2 dice and put them to one side, representing a prophecy granted to the sorcerer. The first time during the battle, your opponent rolls exactly 2 dice. For example, when making leadership tests, charge rolls, a psychic test, uses 2 warp charges, firing an assault 2 weapon, etc. And the result matches the 2 dice you put aside, the prophecy comes to pass, and a unit of demons is immediately summoned within 18 inches of the sorcerer from the disciples of the Manon, as if the unit has just manifested a conjuration psychic power.
Okay, that's cool.
Roll a d6 to determine what kind of demons are summoned.
So 1 to 3, it's 10 pink horrors. 4 to 5, it's 3 screamers or 3 flamers. And a 6, it's a Lord of Change or a Herald of Zinch. Why would you pick the Herald if you have the Lord of Change as an option?
Yeah.
Probably because you don't own the Lord of Change because it's a big lump of fine cast.
So you get a sorcerer in this list, which is nice, and you'll get that 3 unit of demons eventually. Which
Yeah,
will be
because I mean, how many times does your opponent roll 2d6 over the battle? Quite a lot, I would hazard a guess. You know,
I mean, if you get horrors, it's a bit gimmicky.
if you get horrors, it's useful though. 10 pink horrors. What's a pink horror cost?
9 points.
So that's 93 points. If you get screamers, that's decent. If you get a freaking Lord of Change,
Yeah,
that's
you're on at
awesome.
6.
You know, that could be a really... I don't see... If you're playing Crimson Slaughter, you're playing them because you want to run Possessed. That is their thing, you know, you wouldn't be playing Crimson Slaughter if you didn't want to run Possessed. So you're taking Possessed anyway, so that's no tax. Sorcerer is one of the best HQ choices for Chaos.
Yeah.
You know, if you're playing Crimson Slaughter, run this formation because you just get free stuff.
Yeah. We like free stuff.
Free stuff is good. Send me free stuff. No, you don't have to send me free stuff. Don't
Right.
worry.
Brethren of the Dark Covenant.
Okay. So it's 1
so-
Dark Apostle, 1 unit of Possessed, and 1 to 3 units of Chaos Marines. So it's a nice sort of bulk of units. Again, stuff that you're likely to want to take anyway. Unbridled Wrath.
Oh yeah,
is
this
their
is one of
special
them.
role.
So in the shooting phase, the Dark Apostle can... Profane? Oh,
The Dark Apostle from this formation can scream a litany of rage and bloodshed instead of shooting. So he's a Dark Apostle, he's not a great shooter anyway, so you're probably going to want to do
I
this.
don't even know if Dark Apostles have guns.
They probably have a bolt pistol. If he does so, Each other unit in this formation that is within 12 is filled with unholy zeal and gains zealot and feel no pain until the start of your next turn.
That's pretty good, because if you rhino this formation up, 3 units of Space Marines and a unit possessed in rhinos, jump out, be like, feel no pain!
That's good. That kind of does the same trick as your Khorne Demonkin do, where so much stuff appears in front of you and gains feel no pain. And these have power armor to top it off. So that's pretty nice, actually. Yeah, I like that. That could be the type of formation.
And
that
if
really...
the Dark Apostle's killed, they keep feel no pain for that round.
Yeah,
So they
that's
don't
true.
lose it if they step out of that 12-inch bubble.
Although what you do is you keep your Dark Apostle in the rearmost unit well protected because you don't want to lose your Dark Apostle.
So that's a nice formation.
That's like I say, it's one of those that could really be the basis of an army list. But this next one could certainly do that as well.
I like this one.
This is the Cult of Slaughter.
So
again,
it's-
you need a Dark Apostle.
But 2 to 8 units of cultists. 8 units of cultists!
What's the max size on cultists?
30.
30 times 8. Let me see. 530s would be 150. Lots. More than I'm willing to count to at 11 o'clock at night.
240? Yeah,
Something-
240.
Yeah, that's
240 cultists.
that's a lot of cultists. So, yeah.
Units of cultists from the Cult of Slaughter have leadership 10 while within 9 inches of the Dark Apostle. Yay!
Leadership 10 cultists to chug up the board even more. And Frenzied Horde. So
The Cult of Slaughter follows Dark Apostle.
unquestioningly. Okay, so there's a lot of fluff there. At the start of each of your movement phase, roll a dice for each unit of cultists in the Cult of Slaughter within 18 of the Dark Apostle. That many slain models are returned to the unit. Each must be set up within coherency, but not within 1 inch of an enemy model. Any models that cannot be set up are lost. So you've
each
got
turn
a
you
huge
get D6.
number of leadership 10 cultists that keep coming back. D6 for every unit that's taking casualties. So you could really choke up the board there.
Yeah, you could. It could be a laugh.
Only problem is you'd need to buy lots of Dark Vengeance sets or convert your own cultists.
They do like a 10-man box of cultists.
Oh, they do now, because for a while they didn't. Or do what you do, use Blood Reavers.
Yeah, I used the Blood Reavers from the Age of Sigmar.
Age of Sigmar start. Although,
It won't be very good because they're only cultists, they're only human stat line.
yeah, but it's more
it
about
would be
maths.
funny.
It's just about the sheer maths.
Right.
Which is the complete opposite of this next formation, the Lords of Slaughter.
So it's 1 Chaos Lord, 1 Possessed, 1 unit of Terminators, and 1 to 3 Chaos Marines.
So you need quite a lot of pointsy units for this.
Oh no, you could run that as 1 unit Marines, Possessed, Terminators, and a Lord.
Yeah, that's
not a lot.
still quite pointsy.
So, oh yes, the Chaos Lord from Lords of Slaughter has Psycho Mastery level 1. He also knows the Prescience power from Divination.
Okay, that's cool. Prescience is one of the better powers anyway.
He can target any unit from the Lords of Slaughter regardless of range when attempting to manifest this power.
Oh, that's useful. So this looks like it's kind of meant to represent, like a fluffy, a unit within, or like a formation within the background, where obviously the Chaos Lord was a Psyker. But yeah, that's kind of nice, being able to throw out an infinite ranged divination.
I don't know if you'd
prescience.
max out the Chaos Marines there because you lose OBSEC.
True, you'd probably just want to run the one. Maybe.
I don't know why you'd run this formation at all. In a CAD, you could take a Sorcerer who can take Divination, and then...
True, yeah, it's not ideal, but it's interesting rather than strong.
Right,
Canon's Hellguard, or Cranon's Hellguard. So you need a hell of a lot of units for the Hellguard. You need a Lord, a unit of Chosen, a unit of Terminators, 2 units of Cultists, a unit of raptors, a land raider, and a hellbrute.
You don't see often land raiders mixed in formations.
That is a lot of stuff, but it's a way to get a land raider if you still like your land raiders, which are still the best transport chaos have for getting an assault unit.
It's not even a good land raider though, it's a standard lascannon land raider.
Yeah, but it's still an assault vehicle with armour 14 all round.
And it's actually a little cheaper than the Space Marine one.
That's because it doesn't have power of the machine spirit. So special rules, you get stubborn.
Stubborn's nice because we don't have a notion of no fear.
Yeah, and swarm of phantasms. Enemy units that are within 12 of at least one unit from this formation, subtract 1 from their leadership. Enemy units that are within 12 of at least 2 units from this formation, subtract 1 from their ballistic skill. Ooh, it's a lot to take.
So hold on, if you're within 2, you subtract 1 from ballistic skill. If you're within 1, you subtract 1 from leadership. Or do you get the leadership debuff and the ballistic skill
I think
debuff?
you get both. Because they're separate sentences and they don't say or instead of. So if you're within 12 inches of 2 units from this, you're at -2 leadership. -1 leadership and -1 ballistic skill.
And then if you're running a sorcerer with telepathy,
I see where you're going with this, because then that makes Psychic Shriek all the better.
yeah, makes that one better. And if you're running that formation from the Black Legion with 3 Psychers, comboed with this.
Remind me what the power in that does again? Oh no, that power is...
It's not leadership based, but
not
they can have
leadership.
telepathy.
But yeah, the other guys who aren't casting that can do telepathy powers.
So
Yeah.
that's not bad. Stubborn's really good, and debuff your opponent.
And of these units, the only one that's really... none of them are great units, but they're the units you've got if you're playing Chaos, Chosen,
Yeah, the only thing I
Terminators.
don't like about it is the Land Raider. Purely because I don't like the Land Raider model, I don't like the Land Raider kit, I don't like how it plays on the table.
You see, I think the Land Raider would be quite fun to stick the Terminators or Possessed and the Lord from this formation in, but,
Well, if you give the Lord that artifact that makes him possessed.
Yeah, but you don't have Possessed.
You do.
Not in this formation, you don't. You have Chosen, Terminators, Cultists and Raptors. So you'd give him the Horns instead.
Yeah.
And have him charge out the Land Raider, probably leading either the Chosen or the Terminators. And then you've got Cultists, maybe run them as min shooty squads at the back to sit on objectives.
Right, last formation I do believe. Yep.
Yep, last formation. The
Red
Red
Onslaught.
Onslaught.
So this requires all of the formations we've just been through.
Okay, so you have to take the Ravagers, Disciples of Manon, Brethren of the Dark Covenant, Cult to Slaughter, Lords of Slaughter, and Cranon's Hellguard. So yeah,
So that's going to be massive.
That's going to be a lot of points. I haven't pointed it out, but that's probably more than you're going to get in a standard army.
Yeah, you're not going to get that in.
Because how many of those? That requires Terminators. That requires Terminators. So you've got at least 2 units of Terminators, at least 3 units of Possessed, at least 2 units of Chosen, at least 4 units of Cultists, several Lords. This is an apocalypse scale army here.
Whilst 1 unit from the formation is on the battlefield, subtract 1 from leaderships of all enemy army. So, that's cool. So you subtract 1 from your opponent's army.
Army leadership. It's just as long as there's a unit of this on the board. So if one of your cultists from one of the formations hasn't died yet and is hiding behind a tree at the back of the board, the enemy's still -1 leadership. But to be honest, at that point you've lost the game, because this is going to be your army. You're not going to have this and something else.
At the start of your turns, roll a dice on a 4 or more. Each unit possessed from the Red Onslaught that has completely destroyed, completely destroyed, is placed in ongoing reserve.
Okay, where these units arrive, they do so using the rules for Deep Strike, regardless of any formation that they were previously... regardless of any formation they're previously part of. These do not benefit from any formation special rules, however they can still be summoned back into the battlefield. So your Possessed have a 50-50 chance of recycling and deep striking.
And you can keep re-rolling for those Possessed.
Yeah.
So if you killed a Possessed unit and then I failed that first re-roll, I can then re-roll again, roll again next turn.
So that's quite nice, because how many units of Possessed have you got here again? You've got one in that formation.
Yep, 1,
two,
2, 3.
three, and one over here as well.
4 units
So you've got
possessed.
4 units of possess that keep coming back potentially. But again, at the amount of models you're going to need to pull this is an APOC game. This isn't a standard 1850
Yeah,
tournament.
you're looking at least 3,000 points.
But it's certainly an interesting way to play it. It gives you a kind of Decurion. It's not built out over a page with all the flexibility of the normal detachment formations, but it's something. And I think, again, very much like the Black Legion book, this does give you some extra strength, but you've got to weigh it up against OBSEC, and it's going to be more about wanting to play the Crimson Slaughter because you like the Crimson Slaughter and the fluff behind them.
There's some good perks in there.
Oh, yeah.
A 3 unit of demons and a unit of sorcerer. Mixing the 2 books I found to make some really interesting lists. I find it's easier to make lists if you keep them pure, but if you're mixing the 2 books, you can have some real fun.
That'd certainly be something interesting to try out because you've got a lot of chaos, haven't you?
Not in a playable state.
Fair enough. Are you likely to get some chaos in a playable state?
Maybe, if I can hash out a list I like.
Yeah, and I mean, in the meantime, if there's stuff you want to add, you want to run it in part of your KDK. As I say, they're going to be red.
This is the main problem. I'd like to do Chaos Marines, but KDK are still a lot stronger, even with these 2 supplements.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you want to run Chaos of some sort of flavour, and you want to run competitive, at the moment, you're either running Demons, or you're running Demonkin, you're not running Marines. Even with, you know, Heldrake's getting a little bit of a buff in the Flyers thing, because they're actually pretty decent under that, from what I understand.
No idea. I'm not paying 35 quid for rules.
No, not going to rant about that again. There's plenty of rants on here about that. You don't need to see more of them. But yeah, I think both of these are quite fun rules to play, actually. They would certainly be things that, if you play Chaos, and if you want to try something a little bit different, again, more for a semi-competitive or casual game rather than a tournament. Hang on, Jason, you're not running off with my Eldar, are you? That's fine. They're Eldar, of course they're fragile.
If you built a really nice pre-heresy Traitor Legion, and then throw some of their rules in, you could use them with 40k a bit differently. I'd like to find a way to make Chaos Marines work on the table. It's going to need a lot of money spending.
It's a tough army to play, but I think both of these books do bring it up from the doldrums up to sort of mid-tier.
Yeah.
Probably run these, maybe spliced with a CAD, maybe on their own as formations.
If I was splicing a CAD formations, I might run from this. I quite like the Ravagers, getting the rerolls, it's quite nice. And the Brethren of the Dark Covenant, the feel no pain on Marines is quite nice. Also, the Disciples of Manon are 3 units of demons. When you roll a random dice, it's quirky.
Yeah, and at some point that's going to come up, and you know, 1 in 6 games you'll get a free Lord of Change. That will mean you're going to need to go and buy a Lord of Change.
The Cult of Slaughter's funny, but I don't have that many cultists.
Nobody needs that many cultists.
It could be fun if you just run it as 2 units of 10 and Dark Apostle. It's a
No,
laugh.
because if you run the unit of 10, they're going to get shot up in 1 round and won't respawn because they're all dead.
Yeah.
You need big. You'd better off running 2 big units and lots of small ones.
The Legion of Slaughter and Curran's Hellguard, I wouldn't run.
Yeah, Chaos Terminators just.
I'd run the first 3
great.
formations out of this. The Ravagers, Disciples of Manon, and the Brethren of the Dark Covenant.
And that would probably be most of an army, and then you might want to say splice in if you want some armour, formation from there with the Hellbrutes.
I would definitely splice in the Black Legion one.
Yeah.
What's it called? The
Demon Engine pack, or the Cyclopean Cabal, the one with the Psychers.
Yeah, 3 extra sorcerers. That put me 4 sorcerers on the board. And then I might splice a CAD, or the Demon pack, or the Hounds of Abaddon.
I tell you what, and the other thing in this Crimson Slaughter book that we didn't mention is you've got
again a crap ton of missions.
Load of missions. Now, what I think might be quite fun, potentially, is obviously the next few weeks, as we said, we're probably prepping for a tournament. But after that, there isn't another tournament till September. They don't tend to run them in the summer. we could, well, certainly not a 40k one. There's not one in July or August. And that September one's a bit of a weird one anyway. We could certainly maybe try some of these missions out then with slightly more casual lists, because of late we've been playing some quite hardcore lists. Your Raven Guard are nasty, my Eldar have tournament proof, your Demonkin and Nigh on unbeaten outside of a tournament setting, apart from last week when your dice didn't turn up.
Yeah, last week we were just decided to go, you're going to make 6 reserve rolls and fail them all.
But yeah, this could be quite fun for make some different bat reps, maybe even try and link them together or something.
Yeah, maybe.
Have to have a look at doing that. But yeah, anyway, we've kind of gone off from reviewing this to chatting about our future plans. But anyway, I hope you liked this review. If you haven't seen my ones on the Black Legion or the Angels of Death, then click the links in the description below and check those out. Other than that, leave your thoughts on these. We know they're not the strongest books from a tournament perspective, but they do add some fun to the game. But anyway.
And any quirks you've got to playing Chaos Marines, anything you think works.
Yeah,
and
any tips for him getting a Chaos Army together? Because he's very much a disciple of Khorne.
Yes, I do love Khorne.
But unfortunately it's
just, with a structure here, I like to stick with at least 3 formations, that includes a CAD. Because all our tournaments follow the same sort of structure of at least a maximum of 3.
Yeah, so you can take, say, a CAD and 2 formations, or you can take a Decurion consisting of 3 formations, or just 3 random formations. So
I generally like to keep it to that rule of 3.
Yeah. So yeah, any tips, send them his way.
Any list constructions and criticism. I might do a couple of video series of building a chaos list.
Yeah, that's cool. That'd be interesting. And as I've said, my video on building marine lists was reasonably popular, wasn't it?
Yeah, so we could do that.
Well, yeah,
we'll see how it goes.
Keep an eye out for that. Thanks a lot for watching us ramble, guys. And sorry for the yawning halfway through. It is a little bit late, and I really didn't have much sleep last night. But anyway, thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you again soon.
Bye.
Bye.